I don't know if you heard about it. So far, just in the last few days, 18 states have joined the Lone Star State to defend the integrity of our elections before the highest court in the land. President Donald Trump deserves his day in court, the Supreme Court. And all I can say is God bless Texas.
All right, Vice President Pence all fired up, and that's a good sign. A lot of states have joined Texas, and the President of the United States has intervened. I think that's the legal terminology, and he's now a party to this lawsuit. We're joined by Dr. John Eastman, counsel of record for President Trump. He's also a constitutional scholar. And, sir, welcome to Newsmax. How are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you. Nice opening for the segment. Mike Pence was on fire.
Yeah, sure was. All right, look, you got a lot of work to do, so I want to respect your time. Texas is suing 4 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia. They exploited COVID, that's the allegation, I believe it, to basically rearrange the rules to skew the election results. That's the outline of the case. How do you get this thing heard in the Supreme Court? All the legal experts on cable news, experts in quotes, say this isn't going to happen.
Well, you know, the Supreme Court, a couple of justices have said when a state sues another state, their jurisdiction is mandatory and they have to take it. That's not been the position of a majority of the court in recent decades, but I think it's right. But in any event, with 18 states now in and the President of the United States himself, the press to exercise whatever discretion they have to take the case and hear it is extremely strong. And look, I think both sides ought to have this resolved. I mean, half of the country thinks this election was stolen, including, according to Rasmussen, 30% of Democrats. If that's true, why would even the Biden camp not want to actually have a court look at the data, look at the violations of state law that occurred, to loosen the fraud risk protections on absentee ballots? Why would they not want to get this cleared up? So if they do win the election after a fair review, they can come in as a more legitimate president.
So December next week, early next week, I think the 14th is the day the Electoral College meets. We've been debating about this here. My view is January 20th is the only date, I believe, in the Constitution that's absolutely steadfast mandatory. Some of this other stuff is flexible. But do you see next Tuesday, when the Electoral College convenes, does their thing, is that the deadline?
Well, no, actually Monday, right? The 14th. But look, we've got one precedent in recent history on this, the 1960 election. The electors for Nixon, who had been certified, met on the assigned day and cast their votes. The Michigan election officials subsequently found more ballots for Kennedy and recertified the Kennedy slate of electors, who had also met on their own on that day and cast their own votes. And when the joint session of Congress met in early January and opened those votes, the presiding president of the Senate, who happened to be Richard Nixon, counted the Kennedy votes from Hawaii. So that occurred after the date the electors cast their votes. And I think that's right. If the Supreme Court says a slate of electors was chosen unconstitutionally, then obviously that can't be the determining factor in the election.
Okay. So at this point, what are the mechanics? How's it going to go down? Are you waiting for a phone call at any minute? I mean, like, how are we going to find out their decision? What's going to happen? And answer that first, if you don't mind.
Well, the Supreme Court asked the 4 states to have their briefs in opposition in by 3 o'clock today, and they were all in. And I suspect the Supreme Court's going to meet in conference tomorrow to decide whether to grant Texas's motion to file the original action. And then they'll confront the issue like President Trump's motion to intervene. If they grant that Texas motion, they'll set a briefing schedule. They could even appoint a special master to look at some of the underlying allegations of fraud. It's an original action, so they're here acting like a trial court, which is not their normal role. Normally, they end up appointing a trial judge to serve as special master to try and sort through the evidentiary issues. But the principal legal issue is that states, and they acknowledge this, they violated their own state laws or ignored their state laws that were put in place to protect against fraud. And because the legislature of the state has the sole authority authority under the federal Constitution, those actions by state election officials were just patently unconstitutional.
I hear that other states, democratically controlled states, about 20 or so, 23 maybe, have banded together and they want to basically countersue. They're bringing legal action as well. Does that complicate our efforts here?
No, I think it does highlight to the Supreme Court how important this case is and how important and necessary it is that it be resolved in a way that the country can think it was fairly decided. Right now, the country doesn't think that.
Dr. John Eastman, counsel of record for President Trump. I'm glad you're on the case. Good luck, sir. Keep us posted. All the best and stay safe.
Thank you very much.
You bet.